humans are in trouble.
This is Neo. It is a human-looking robot maid. It can do your dishes, it can clean stuff, it can fold your laundry. This is real. You can pre-order one today with an expected delivery next year. Now, Neo is not cheap. It's about $20,000. And if the price tag didn't turn you off, this might. Yes, Neo is technically a robot, but it is operated by a human being wearing a headset. In other words, a human being is watching its and your every move.
In 2025, the line between human and machine stopped being theoretical. It became mechanical. And its name was NEO. When the company behind it unveiled a walking, talking humanoid robot, not a sci-fi prop, not a lab demo, but a functional, learning, adaptive machine, something shifted. The crowd didn't cheer. They stared. Because NEO didn't look like a gadget. It looked like a mirror. For decades, robotics lived on the fringe. Assembly lines, warehouses, labs, machines that did what humans told them to. But the dream of a human-shaped machine, one that could think, walk, adapt, and replace, always lingered. We saw it in movies, we joked about it, and then one day, it stopped being fiction. In the last decade, companies across the world, Tesla, Figure AI, Agility, Sanctuary, and now NEO, began building a new species of worker. Humanoid robots designed not just to help humans, but to replace them. They can lift boxes, cook food, run deliveries, assemble cars, even have basic conversations. They never sleep, never complain, never unionize, and never ask for a raise. They're the dream employee, and humanity's biggest competitor. NEO wasn't the first, but it was the signal. When people saw it move, perfectly balanced, eerily human, they realized the age of robotics isn't coming. It's here. Because behind every demo video and press release is an undeniable truth. Someone, somewhere, is trying to automate you. We told ourselves AI would stay digital, text, voice, pixels on screens. But the code was never going to stay inside the computer. It wanted a body, and now it has one. The humanoid revolution isn't about robots taking over the world, it's about corporations realizing they don't need people to run it. Factories in China, logistics hubs in the US, even grocery chains in Europe, all are testing humanoids side by side with human workers. Every experiment is the same story. The robots don't quit, they don't get tired, and they get cheaper every month. For investors, it's efficiency. For workers, it's extinction in slow motion. The transition began quietly. Warehouse automation, self-checkout kiosks. Then came the pandemic, a perfect excuse to replace risky human labor with machines. And now, the final step is unfolding, giving AI a body to inhabit. Tesla calls theirs Optimus. Figure calls theirs 02. NEO calls itself the bridge between biology and technology. But whatever you name it, the goal is the same: to make human labor optional. The irony is that humanoid robots were once considered inefficient. Why build a human-shaped machine when a conveyor belt works better? But investors changed the math. Because replacing people doesn't just save wages, it removes unpredictability, the humankind. No strikes, no opinions, no laws protecting a robot's time off. A perfect labor force wrapped in empathy's disguise. Governments call it innovation. Economists call it progress. But to many, it feels like replacement disguised as revolution. The humanoid boom is already being compared to the smartphone boom of the 2000s. Every major tech firm is building one. And like every bubble before, it's driven by belief and fear. Fear of being left behind. Fear of missing the next trillion-dollar frontier. Behind the glossy videos, the industry's logic is brutally simple. The global labor shortage is growing. Birth rates are falling. Wages are rising. So instead of paying humans more, companies are building new ones. the market for humanoid robots is projected to hit $150 billion by 2030. But that number hides a darker calculation. For every robot built, there's a human role made redundant. Some governments see it as salvation. Japan, with its aging population, promotes humanoids as caregivers. In South Korea, they greet guests at hotels and teach children English. In the US, they stock shelves, patrol malls, and manage security. We call them assistants. But their real job is normalization, to make the presence of replacements feel ordinary. At first, it's cute. A robot delivering food, posing for selfies. Then it's convenient. A robot folding laundry, managing warehouses. Then one day, it's invisible, because it's doing what you used to do. Every automation revolution starts with efficiency. It always ends with control. Because once you automate labor, the next thing you automate is behavior. The same algorithms that power humanoids are also watching you. They learn your gestures, your tone, your hesitation. They analyze how you move, how you react, how you fatigue. That data doesn't just build better robots. It trains systems to anticipate and replace human emotion itself. Humanoid AI doesn't just simulate humanity, it studies it. And the more it studies, the less it needs us. NEO's creators say it's designed to enhance human potential. But every revolution says that at first. The printing press replaced scribes, the factory replaced artisans, the internet replaced stores, and now robotics is replacing the workers who powered them all. But this one feels different. Because for the first time, replacement looks familiar. It looks like us. The psychology of humanoids is powerful. Humans trust faces. We empathize with shapes that mimic ours. So when a robot looks like a coworker, people lower their guard. It's not a tool anymore. It's a presence. That's the hidden genius of humanoid design. It's not just engineering. It's persuasion. A robot that looks like a human doesn't need to outperform you. It only needs to convince your boss it can. And right now, it's working. In 2025, Tesla announced trials of its Optimus bot in its own factories. Figure signed contracts with BMW. NEO partnered with logistics firms to automate entire warehouses. Within a decade, analysts predict humanoids could fill 1 in 10 industrial jobs. That's not speculation. That's a labor market rewriting itself in real time. But here's the twist no one talks about. Humanoid robots aren't built to serve humanity. They're built to serve the few who can afford to own them. Each one represents power, physical, financial, and political. Because when you own the means of production and the labor, you don't just make money, you define society. In 2023, the world's richest companies were software giants. By 2030, they'll be hardware empires, owning fleets of humanoids that mine data, move goods, and manage cities. The new industrial class won't be workers. It'll be owners of machines that look like workers. And as automation scales, inequality widens. Because technology doesn't replace everyone equally. It replaces the replaceable first. The workers without safety nets, the clerks, the drivers, the cleaners. And as it climbs the skill ladder, the human cost compounds. Efficiency becomes an ideology, and empathy becomes a luxury. This is the paradox of progress. The more advanced technology becomes, the less space it leaves for imperfection, the very thing that makes us human. Still, there's resistance. Movements pushing for human labor guarantees, unions demanding automation taxes, governments debating robot citizenship. But history suggests otherwise. Regulation always lags behind innovation, and by the time the laws catch up, the machines are already working. The question isn't whether robots will replace us, it's who will profit when they do. Humanoid robotics is the next great extraction industry, not of oil or data, but of identity. It monetizes human form and function. Our bodies become blueprints, our gestures become patents. The essence of being human, replicated, commodified, and sold back to us as efficiency. And yet, we keep cheering. Because the demos look cool. Because the future feels exciting. Because deep down, we want to believe technology saves more than it destroys. But maybe the truth is quieter. Maybe the rise of humanoids isn't about evolution. It's about substitution. The replacement of messy, unpredictable life with something measurable, manageable, and monetizable. A world where humans aren't obsolete, just optional. Still, hope lingers. For every corporation building humanoids for profit, there are engineers building them for care, robots that assist the elderly, help the disabled, or perform dangerous work no human should risk. The problem isn't the machines, it's the market they serve. When profit becomes the goal, every innovation becomes extraction. And in a world where attention, data, and now labor are all monetized, the next frontier isn't technology, it's trust. Because once you can't tell who's human and who's programmed, reality itself becomes negotiable. The internet blurred truth. AI blurred creativity. Humanoids will blur identity. And that's the point of no return. One day, you'll walk into a store, a hospital, maybe even a newsroom, and you won't know if the person helping you is human or hardware. You'll smile politely, you'll talk normally, and deep down, a part of you will wonder if the future needs me at all. The rise of humanoid robots isn't just a story about innovation, it's a story about what we choose to value. Because technology always reflects its creator's intent. And right now, that intent looks less like liberation and more like replacement. But maybe, just maybe, that's where the next rebellion begins. Not in rejecting the machines, but in redefining humanity around what they can't replicate. Consciousness, creativity, compassion. The traits that can't be coded or copied yet. History shows that every time we mechanize part of life, a counterculture emerges to defend the human parts left behind. When machines replaced art, we made abstract. When they replaced labor, we created service. And when they replace everything else, maybe what remains will finally define us. Because NEO and its siblings don't prove we've reached the future. They prove we're still deciding what the future should be. The machines are coming. Some will build, some will serve, and some will replace. But what they can't decide, at least not yet, is what being human means when humanity stops being necessary. We used to dream about creating life. Now we're dreaming about surviving what we've created. And maybe that's the final irony of progress. That in trying to make machines more human, we've made humanity more mechanical. The age of human replacements isn't science fiction, it's business strategy. And the real question isn't how far machines can go. It's how much of ourselves we're willing to give away before we realize we've already been replaced.